Hi, my name is Grant Eric, and I'd like to talk a little bit today about social classes, especially in the United States. To start off, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple different theories that have emerged throughout history about social classes. The first is the structural functionalist theory, which argues that inequality is essential to maintaining order in society. I like to make the comparison between a doctor and a grocery clerk when we think about the structural functionalist theory. When I head into a doctor's office, I want the most highly trained, highly qualified individual there to take care of my needs at the doctor's office. This might be different if I go to the grocery store. I generally don't need somebody that is very highly trained to assist me in getting my groceries. This goes to say that individuals with more training often get the more important jobs in society due to their necessity for the training and qualified individuals that these jobs need. There's also the Marxian class model, which has two classes. One, the means of production, or those who own the land, the resources, factories, and things that generally turn out a final product. And then there are the workers who sell their services to the means of production. So generally, the higher income class falls in the means of production, or those who control the output of the final product. Excuse me. Then we also have Weber's model of stratification, which added socioeconomic status to describe one's social class. This is based on prestige, and I like to make the comparison between a high school teacher and a financial bigwig. Generally, high school teachers are highly regarded because they mentor and they teach our youth. They are usually valued highly by society. And generally, at least in present times, people who are big in the financial industry have been, to say the least, mistrusted, especially with the economic downturn in the last couple of years. So they do not have a high level of prestige. And today, our social classes are mainly based on income. And to say it broadly, social class is a group of individuals with approximately the same income. But I'm going to also add that it's also the ability to utilize important resources and opportunities. In the United States, we have basically four different social classes. We have the upper class, the middle class, the working class, and the poor. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these individually. The upper class might go to work in something like I'm wearing right now. A suit, perhaps a tie. I'm not wearing one right now, though. And a nice shirt. They generally have very high income levels. And in addition, they have access to resources such as healthcare that people of the other classes might not have as much access to. Somebody in the middle class might go to work in something like a collared shirt, possibly a tie. These people might be people such as managers, and they do not have as high of income levels as the upper class, but they still have a fairly substantial income, and they still have access to some of the resources, not all of them as the upper class, but they do have access to fairly good resources such as healthcare. And then we have the working class. I'm going to argue that the working class might go to work in something like a polo t-shirt. Right now, I am working a working class job, I would consider, at the Levi's store in the 29th Street Mall in Boulder and the Panera in Boulder. I take home a steady source of income. It's not a lot compared to what the middle class or the upper class might be, but I do have a every 2 weeks paycheck coming in with enough money to live on. I do not have great access to healthcare right now due to my salary, but in the future I plan on working my way up to the upper classes. Then we have the poor class. And I'm going to argue that the poor class might go to work in something like a t-shirt. The poor class does not make a lot of money. At times they might be laid off, not have a job at all. And they oftentimes do not have access to resources such as healthcare. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what social class I'm in. I believe that I'm in the middle class, middle social class right now, based on my family and what my father has achieved. My father is paying for my school. I have a car. He pays for my school. I pay for my housing and my food. But he provided for our family, and in a couple of years he's going to be able to retire. So I'm going to say that I'm in the middle class. And some of the things that might identify me from other classes is that I have things such as a car. I have money for things other than just necessities. I have money for entertainment. But at the same time, I don't have the same amount of money as somebody in the upper class might have because of, take for example, my school. If I was in the upper class, I might go somewhere like Harvard or Stanford, but instead I'm at CU, which I have no problem with. Some of the beliefs that I learned from society, from my social class, and from my parents is the want to be at the top, that hard work is key, and that schooling is essential. And in conclusion of this presentation, I want to argue that in the United States, every social class strives to be in the upper class. And something that is fairly unique to the U.S. I mean, it's unique to, or it's a part of the rest of the world also, but not in all areas. But we can move up and down the social class ladder fairly easily. There's not a lot of barriers that are saying that we can't be in the upper class. We're not from a caste system. We weren't born into anything. It's not based on the feudal system. But we have the opportunities to grow and work our ways into these different social classes. So in the end, we all have the opportunity to work our way up the ladder, but at the same time, it's just as easy to fall all the way to the bottom.